Hello, Spurs faithful. Welcome back to the We Are Tottenham TV show. This is the fan post-match show. Make sure you give the channel a like and subscribe. Also, We Are Tottenham TV. We Are Tottenham TV. Also, Tottenham away, Iggy and I. Come check us out on Monday night if you want to hear what we have to say even more.
And we will have a lot to say.
Oh, we've got a lot to. I've always got a lot to say. But anyway, this is about the Spurs fans. We want to hear what you have to say. So make sure you get involved, members, and call into the show. We're going to start off with our first guest, the infamous, the one and only, from Canada, Toronto. It's Brian Daigle.
Brian Daigle.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Gee, goddamn Christ.
So, Brian, you're in good spirits. Talk to us about it.
Phenomenal, mate. Don't worry, we're going to beat Brighton and we're going to get that full spot. We're going to do it. Wake up. Wake up, people. It's over. It's done. It ain't happening. A lot of people, like myself, Stel, and others, have been saying this for a long time. It's not happening. Once again, we get our people get their hopes up, and then Dr. Tottenham, give me the news. I've got a back case of loving you. This is Brian Daigle, the musical. Fucking hell, mate. Jesus. What?
Brian, let me ask you this. You looked at you watched the game, of course, like everybody else. Give me your thoughts on the first half and the second half, and where you feel the game swung one way or the other. How did you feel in the first half? How did you feel at half time? And obviously the second half, Tottenham played, and then obviously tell me where you felt it all went wrong.
All right, so first half, obviously, Ronaldo's goal, obviously, it's a banger. It's an absolute banger. You're not going to stop it. The fact he was given that amount of room to hit it, when you know what this man is going to do, you know that there's been saying he's not happy, he's not on form, and there you go. Within 12 minutes, wallop. And I think the way we responded was really good. Really good.
So, Brian, sorry to interrupt you, Brian. There's an echo whenever I and Iggy speak. I don't know if it's on my end or yours. 1 second. Let me just quickly get the technician to tell me. Because there's people in the comments saying it as well, so maybe they can't hear.
Yeah, I must admit, I could hear it at the beginning still. I can't hear it in the back end anymore. So
is it maybe because you haven't got headphones on, or is that not the case?
No, there's a feedback. It sounds like feedback.
Okay, Brian, it's on your end. I'm being told.
I can confirm with you 1,000,000,000% that it is not. Look at that. Look at Sam blaming me. Sam, what are you doing, brother? What are you doing? I know this game long enough.
Right, Sam said he can hear it coming from your mic. So maybe your mic, you need to change the setting to make sure it's the right mic. Or is that better, Sam?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear it as well. Brian, I think maybe you need to put headphones on. Because when you speak into the mic, maybe it's repeating itself.
All right, let me say, oh, mate, I was really enjoying that beginning bit, and now I'm going to be leaving it. Okay.
One minute. People in the comments are saying it's our end.
See, a bad workman blames his tool, Sam. Do your job.
Brian, do you have us on loudspeaker?
No, I've just got you out on how I am every single time I come on the show.
No, he's got it on as normal. Okay, Sam said put on headphones if you can.
All right, let me sign out, and give me a few. You two talk amongst yourself.
Brian, come out. Let's do the next guest, and then you'll be the second one straight. You'll be the one straight after the next one, okay?
All right, then, brother. No worries.
All right, we'll see you soon, Brian. All right, guys. Sorry about the technical issue. We're going to sort this one out. I can hear echoing in my ears again. No, it's gone. Okay.
It's gone, yeah, so
let's bring on Mr. Aravind.
How you doing, Aravind?
Tottenham.
That's a lot better. Yeah, that's better. It was Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, Aravind, talk to us, my man. What happened today?
Atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I mean,
Ha-
talking of everyone was hyping Doherty. He's back. Yeah. I knew this guy is useless, and people were hyping him so much.
Can
Reguilon, fullback.
are we gonna put that defeat all on Doherty? I'm gonna try and play a bit of devil's advocate here. Can
No.
we just seriously single out one player? Because me and Stel spoke about it, and we said 2 players at best had a good game today. So we can't put it all on him. Although I'll agree with you when you say that it wasn't his best performance.
Look, I'm not blaming on one of the players, but Conte's system depends on the fullbacks. So uh, we need to they need to show. I'm not. You can have a bad game, but there needs to be some kind of quality shown from something. Like the crosses were very awful from them. Yes, I do agree that many of the players didn't turn up. I know Kane didn't turn up. Okay, fine, he scored a goal. Son was not good. But yes, I do. But I still don't deny the fact that the fullbacks under Conte's system needs to perform well. But as a whole unit, they were awful. But
Aravind, can I ask you a question? You said that Kane didn't turn up. Was Kane getting any service? Was anything being created for Kane? Was Kane in the right position for things to be created for him?
look, yeah, look, that's what. Look, this one thing is service, but I still feel that he was a bit um loose sometimes with the ball. Like he could have when he was coming into the pockets, he could have done better decisions. Yes, he was not having the service, but I don't know. But it's whenever Kane and Son, whenever this game, there's a crucial game that's Middlesbrough or Burnley. I don't know, for some reason these players don't turn up. I know Kane still turned up against Manchester City, but whenever we have the chance, I want these players to turn up in crucial moments. We know that if we get this win today, we get top 4. But yeah, there was no service. But I think so. Kane could have done. Look at Ronaldo. Like Ronaldo did not. Yes, he did. He got in a few chances over there with the crosses and all that stuff. But you know when these players get one few chances, we are saying we see Kane as world class. That's why I do agree with Kane as world class. So I just want him to do a bit more extra than what he is. But I'm not going to blame him thoroughly that oh he's atrocious or anything like that. But I just feel he's just a standout player and he could have just done much better than what he was showing. But to be honest, right, I'm not gonna. I'm just singling out single players of how atrocious they were. But today there were around 7 to 8 players that were not good enough. From we can name everyone: Reguilon, Doherty, PML Højbjerg was okay. Then we had Eric Dyer was okay. Then Ben Davis was okay. So what comes to the end of the day? The end of the day is that a quality of players are not good enough, and we need to upgrade our squad, and that's what leaves us over here.
It just seems that whenever we play a team that's a certain level, and I don't think this was a prime Man United or anything like that. It was a United side was probably on the same sort of level that Spurs are. Certainly the same how they've been performing, so up and down. But what they did have today was the man stepped up and
To be honest, according to
dragged
my
this
view,
team
I
through.
don't think so. Manchester United performed really well. They were actually like they were performing the level of us. They didn't in the second half. They also did not create any chances except the goal which they scored. They were a bit more aggressive in the counter whenever we lost the ball, but they weren't playing good football over here, passing around and everything. When the goals were all movements, quality movements. So I won't agree to that's why I feel that if we had shown a bit more character, we could have won this game.
Bang on
We
back
had
hands.
more of the possession. We were just clueless when we have the ball, and that's what happens. Like whenever we have the ball, we never perform. It was against Middlesbrough, against United, against Burnley. But when we have off the ball, when we have the spaces, then we see players. When we have spaces, we score the goals. So we still lack the quality on the ball. That's what I feel. So that's why whenever our fullbacks come crosses, we can't score. We were just clueless when we have the ball, and then the
But
opponent
Aravind,
teams.
Against Manchester City, we had the quality.
Yeah, but we played more off the ball in that game. We never had. We were not controlling the game over there. We were playing at the counter. We had Kane dropping over there with Son and Kulusevski with the ball, and there were small movements. But in this game, if you see, United in the second half weren't like playing with the ball. They were playing off the ball. They were giving us the chances. That's why we can see our possession stats in the second half. We had a lot. We had a lot with the ball, but we had a lot with the ball, but we didn't harm them a lot. Unless if you take out the Maguire goal. So I feel that with the ball, our team still needs to improve. But it's gonna take a lot of time. But it all depends upon how Conte is going to be back in the summer. And I to be serious, I don't believe that this team, forget top four, is not even getting top six. We're finishing seventh. That's the maximum I can hope from this team.
Aravind, how much of the blame would you put on the manager? I know we've both spoken thoroughly about the players, and I agree with you where the league table does not lie. We are where we deserve to be. There's absolutely no two ways about that. On today's match particularly, do you feel that the Conte could have done something more? Stel mentioned earlier on that the substitutes could have been made earlier. Certainly changing or tweaking it tactically where we could have gone at them a bit more in the second half. How do you feel about that?
I didn't like the change of Kulusevski coming out. I felt that he was playing really well and he could have been kept. I think the one player that could have come off was Son instead of Son for Mora, because Son was not playing well to the match. So
I agree.
Mora, Bergwijn, just get the attackers. Like I feel Conte can play with. The only thing that is good in our team is our attacking options. Otherwise, forget that midfield and defense. We have Kulu, we have Bergwijn, we have Mora. I know Bergwijn and Mora are not up to the standards, but we have options up front. But when it comes to midfield and defense, we don't have. So we could have played around a bit in that and by making few changes. I really feel Kulu should have stayed in the game. I felt that if he stayed in the game, we could have nicked in the third goal because he was creating the chances. He was having the ball. He was the one who was taking on the players. I really like that from him, and that was something he was doing. And Mora could have given extra with the dribbling skills. So I think he got wrong in that terms. But let's be serious. Conte doesn't have many options. If Doherty's playing bad, he can't bring Emerson.
Aravind, the reason why I brought Conte into question, and don't get me wrong, I think he's definitely still the right man for the job. I'm not Conte out or anything like that. I'm just talking specifically because Stel brought up a really good point about the changes and we made them late. But also, when Manchester United equalised to make it 2-2, or was it? No, sorry, I beg your pardon. We equalised to make it 2-2. They made a change and bring Cavani on, changed the way that they
went two up front.
We, to counteract that, we put more on for Kulusevski, so like for like, because we didn't change tactically, and then we followed that up with Stevie Bergwijn and Winks, while still remaining the same, really essentially.
And
only because we went 3-2 down, we went 4-2-4, but in the 2-2 period, Ragnick went attacking, more offense.
We did nothing
to try and win it, and we didn't do anything to do the same.
And we only went attacking after
we went 3-2 down.
But after Man U brought in another defender. So now we're going to attack when they've gone even more defensive.
Yeah.
The time to attack was at 2-2 right then.
That's the point where I'm bringing Conte in question for that moment there of the match where it was 2-2 and the changes have been made and you're sending a message out to your players as to what you want to do. Man United made it clear. We didn't. That's the part that I want to ask you about.
I know. I'm just thinking in Conte's mind. I don't think so. He doesn't trust. It's just something.
No, of course. It's opinions. It's opinions, of course.
I just think Conte doesn't trust Mora and Bergwijn as much as I know. Bergwijn has scored some late goals. I feel he still doesn't trust them to come before the game and make the changes. And okay, take out Mora and Bergwijn out from it. Which other players can give impact? Winks, no.
There's nothing. Aravind, there's nothing. We got rid of 4 midfielders and we brought in 2.
if United
I'm
can
talking
bring
about January, the
Cavani,
transfer
United
window.
can bring quality players off the bench. We only have you can argue bringing in Mora and Bergwijn. Okay, fine. Other than that, we don't have anyone to bring. We
Yeah.
can't bring Dane Scarlett up
It's
front.
a lack of options, really.
We have lack of options, and I still think that he doesn't trust Bergwijn and Mora to, as much as Bergwijn has scored some late goals. I don't think so. He trusts them, and he feels that okay, they can he only options we can be is give them the 20 minutes and up front to just try something, because I know that he's seen all these players in the training ground, and I have a strong feeling he doesn't trust these players. More of the same to say that our starting 11 he doesn't trust many of them, but we don't have options. So as much as yeah we can that look, there's nothing, that there is a blame to Conte of 5 to 10% of how the game could have changed. He could have changed all these stuff, but the end of the day, uh, the players let him down week in and week out, and then that's never an excuse for them.
Aravind, 6-pointer. Today was a 6-pointer, and then we said this in a
It would have changed. Like we had the game in hands. We had 2-2. We just needed to concentrate. And I don't know why do we keep on score set piece again?
Yeah.
Chelsea set piece, United set piece. Our set piece is not improving. Against under Nuno also, our set piece is not improving. We score another goal in set piece. I know.
Aravind, it's called not having good defenders.
Yeah, I do agree, but it's not only with United. It keeps on happening with how does it keep on happening with every team? Like there should be some kind
Same,
of
same,
improvement.
same defenders, Aravind. This didn't happen with Toby Alderweireld and Vertonghen.
And I still agree that people are
when you've got
backing
Ben
Eric
Davies, when you've got Eric Dyer, when you've got Doherty and Emerson as your defenders, what do you expect from them?
We
The problem
gotta
is Spurs
expect-
fans get too, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, I think Spurs fans, they just get way too hyped up after a good win,
True.
and suddenly every player is really, really good. No, the opposition is poor.
Davis and Dyer was never starting under our prime team. I don't know why they're still starting under us. And as much as Eric Dyer
Got
is,
no
they
one
say
else.
leader,
Got no one
leader,
else.
leader, and
Rodon.
all that stuff.
We've got
He's
Rodon.
not
Rodon's not in the
good
picture,
enough
man.
for a squad. He can as much as he's
But how do
performing
we know
well,
he doesn't play?
he's a backup.
But it's
How do we know Ronald's not good enough?
listen. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's clear to me that Conte does not see him in his plans, and that
Conte doesn't like him,
he doesn't see him in there.
I agree.
But what my question, my final question, I don't know if Still wants to add to that. My question is to you is this, Aravind. Today, and we did say this in the chat earlier, it was a massive 6-pointer for both whoever took them. Really. Where does that leave Tottenham in the chase for top 4 for you? If it is indeed, and let me finish, if there is indeed still a challenge for top 4, or is it all, even a top 6 at this point? You have to ask that as well. Are we still on for top 6 or top 4 or top 8? What is that? Where do you think that leaves us today?
Look, we need as a team. This team can't give a run of games to win to tell us whether we
One
need to
win,
finish
one
top
loss, one
4 or
win, one
top
loss,
6. We keep on winning, lose, and there's no consistency. So if you ask any fan right now to predict where Spurs can finish, no one can see anything unless anything changes in the 3 games. But I heavily doubt top four is gone. Top 4 is I'm not going to touch top 4 because Arsenal have 3 games in hand, and they have more chance of finishing top 4 than us. And United can, as much as they have this inconsistent runs, with the players, with the quality they have, they can have 3-4 good games in a row and do it.
Yeah.
But Spurs can win against Brighton and then lose against West Ham. So it's not going to happen. We can't be playing over there. And one thing which I saw from Conte when we equalized, he was saying focus. Where was the focus?
Yeah.
Focus.
These are the kind of things that focus when you're conceding a
These were
corner.
crucial things. He was telling the focus
But you're
in the game.
telling players who aren't good to focus. They're not good because one of the things they don't do is focus. That's why they don't focus. You could say to a player, shoot. What if he can't shoot because he's rubbish at it? Tell a player to focus. You're right, Aravind. I saw that. I saw what Aravind said. I saw exactly what you were saying. Conte was like, yeah, you're right. But the problem is they can't do it. They can't take the pressure. They're not quality players. Ronaldo, he can focus under pressure. Do you know why? He's quality. He's a quality player. He might be old, might be slow, might not be able to press, but he's a quality player.
He steps up when he most needs it. When the team most needs it, he steps up.
Aravind, my friend, we've got to get through loads of other callers,
Yeah.
but last question before we wish you a good night. Where do you honestly think Tottenham will finish this season?
I'm being very serious. 7th.
Okay. Europa Cup. No, Conference
Europa
League.
Conference League.
Oh,
7th.
my God. All right. Aravind, my friend, thanks for the call. Look after yourself, and we will definitely see you soon, buddy.
Take care, Aravind.
See you soon, mate. Come on, you
Take care, mate. Come on, you Spurs.
He's such a good caller, Aravind. He's always
like him.
just.
You know what? He's always.
He's a genuine. He's a genuine character.
I'll tell you what it is about him.
genuine
I'll tell you what I like about him is the fact that even though there's disappointment, I'm very disappointed. And inside, I know I don't probably show it, but I'm raging. I just have a different way of metabolizing things. At the moment,
Smash up the studio if you want.
No. At the moment,
allowed.
mine is just complete and utter disappointment. Somebody would say, "Are you really surprised, Diggy? Why are you disappointed? Like, you didn't see this coming." I'm still disappointed when Spurs lose. My anger will kick in probably tomorrow morning. That's when I feel the defeat even more. But anyway, let's move on to our next caller.
Before we bring the next caller, he's got a quick super chat from Stephen Crane. He says, "When it counts, we've bottled it since Madrid 2019." Stephen,
That's
I would
harsh.
slightly disagree and say one trophy in 21 years. I think we've been bottling it a lot longer than Madrid 2019. I think 2019 was just like the icing on the cake. But fair point, buddy. All right, the next person we are bringing in, are we bringing back Brian Daigle or bringing back? No, we're bringing in Michael. Michael, how you doing, my man? Obviously not happy. Talk to us.
Like frankly speaking, I'm honestly just sad, not angry, because like I have this ability, let's say, to distance myself from such defeats. But you know, 'cause I was watching this game with my brother, who is a Chelsea fan, and his friend, who is a Man United fan.
Oh my God, I feel sorry for you.
You know, I'm not from the Great Britain, so you know, there is not really that much animosity between fans here. So it was more like.
Where are you from, Michael? Sorry to
I'm
ask.
from, Poland.
Okay, Poland.
Yeah. So basically, when this game started, and I looked at the team sheets, I said to my brother and his friend that I'm not really sure if I'm happy that Ronaldo is on the pitch or if I'm really sad that Ronaldo is on the pitch, because as the guys Brian and Sim said a couple of times, he's such a player that you don't really know what to expect from him, because he wasn't really on a good form recently, but he just has this quality, this class about him, and he showed it today. Because frankly speaking, at least for me, we were better in the first half. I don't, you guys probably won't agree with that, but at least I felt after the first half, when we went to the changing room at 2-1, that it's not that we didn't deserve to be 2-1 down, but I just felt like there could have been something more, and I was really hoping for a reaction after the break. But you know, they just came out at the second half, and they just showed no character. They just showed no will to fight. And honestly, I was talking with Brian Daigle in the waiting room, and we agreed that not counting Kulusevski, but Kane and Son had really bad games today. Like, you know, not only them, majority of the team had a bad game. But
Michael,
you know,
can I ask you one question on that?
Sure.
I think most people would agree with you that Son didn't have a good game today, and he was slipping over a lot. Why the bench? No one said to him, "Come over, change your boots." I don't understand. That's the point of having a kit manager and a coach, is to observe and identify and correct to support.
Why would you get a boot wrong in the first place?
Yeah, but they didn't correct it. But Harry Kane, can I ask you, did he really have a bad game, Michael, or did he just not get the support? Because today, I felt, I don't think it was Kane's best game, but there was no one creating anything for him. Do you not think maybe Kane was lacking service, or did you see it in a different way?
Okay, so I agree that Reguilon and Doherty had bad games, but of course, you have 1,000 times more knowledge, more football knowledge than me.
Oh, but it's your opinion, buddy. Michael, you have an opinion though. It's okay.
So basically, what I felt like is that they had a bad game, but they created a couple of chances. Like there was that one cross from, I think it was from Reguilon, that Kane headed when he was clearly offside, and Doherty was running behind him, right? There was a couple of chances, I feel, like a ton of fuck-ups, but a couple of chances that they created. And if Kane had a good game for me, he would have pulled those chances away. And I just really saw him a couple of times being clearly offside, clearly behind the line of the defenders. I saw him like dropping a ball a couple of times. He has this really good ability, at least in my eyes, that he can take on a defender on his back and basically roll with him and find himself in a space of like a couple of meters where he can then make a shot or make a pass. And he just didn't do that today. And let's not kid ourselves. United's defense isn't good. Like if he does it with Manchester City's defense, then he should be able to do that with United's defense, right? But so for me, I feel like if he really had a good game, he would have put at least one chance away. At least I felt like it. There weren't many chances, but
he scored the penalty.
Yeah, he did. But frankly speaking, United should have had the penalty too, right? At least in my opinion, I think it should have been a penalty.
When was that? Well,
right at the beginning of the game, when Dyer Dyer hit the ball with his hand behind his back. I know that there was movement from him to.
Okay, so by the rules of the game, his hand wasn't in an unnatural position. That's why it wasn't given. So the rules were followed. It wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, okay, I can agree with that. But I just maybe let me reiterate it. So I think it could have been given. The fact that it wasn't given is really good, but it could have been given, and I wouldn't be that mad, frankly speaking. But the sad thing is that I had so many thoughts about this game, and right now my mind is kind of empty. But okay, maybe I would say something positive. I think that Kulu had a really good game.
Yeah, I think he had a good game.
We agree.
Michael, I agree with you.
We think it was wrong. It was wrong that he came off, in my opinion. We said it straight away when it happened. It was the wrong call.
I agree with that.
Michael, can I ask you something actually about Kulusevski?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think maybe there's times in matches where maybe Kulu would be better if he played behind Son and Kane? So Son and Kane we played them as two strikers, and Kulu plays like a number 10 behind them. Do you think there's situations where maybe we should try and do that?
Well, as soon as he got signed, I was on one of the call-ins and I said to Ben and Sim that I see us playing what was it, 3-4-1-2, right? Yeah, 3-4-1-2 it would be.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that this role, at least from what I'm seeing from him, he's good at receiving the ball, like dribbling through one player and then passing the ball forwards, or maybe we haven't really seen him taking shots from his left, but at least it was said that he's good at that. But yeah, I think that a central attacking midfielder role would really suit him. And you said in the post-match reaction, right, that you could see him playing there, and I agree with that. I really think that he should be given a chance there.
See, I think like today he played to the left of the three, and that's where the penalty came from, because from where he was starting, he came in, beat a couple of players, put the cross in and won us the penalty. But I just felt that when Man United took off Matip and they only had one holding mid, it was crying out for us to move a player into the attacking mid role. And I thought that would have been a moment to move Kulu in, but we took him off.
Yeah, I honestly was really surprised with Conte's changes today and the way that he approached that second half, because I feel like there were a couple of chances where he could have reacted with subs and with changing the formation. As you said, we probably should have brought Kulusevski from the right side to the middle and played Kane and Son up front in a pair. And probably as sorry, sir, what's your name? The second host, because I know you are Stel.
Oh,
And,
this is
the other one.
Antonio. Antonio.
Iggy.
Yeah.
No, it's Iggy. It's Iggy. But he's got the
So-
Antonio flag, so I call him Antonio.
Yeah. So Iggy said that at 2-2 we probably should have reacted earlier. And there is no point in bringing on Lucas Moura and Bergwijn when the Manchester United go to a low block with 5 defenders. Like, Moura isn't going to do jack shit in that situation. Like, he can pass.
That's true. The space. You're right. The spaces weren't there.
There is
The
just no
spaces
space
weren't there. You're right.
Yeah,
Michael, we brought on Harry Winks. Winks.
Can I just say, in Winks' defence, and I'm probably going to be the only one that defend
He
him.
put in a good ball
He
to-
put in that
yeah, he did.
fantastic ball to Reguilon. It has to be said. Wasted by
I was
Serginho.
about to say the same. I actually think that even though I hate Winks, like I wish he's sold in the summer. And don't get me wrong, I get that
I think
a lot
that
of our fan base
I agree
has,
with that. I think it's time
has
to move.
sentiment with him. But I think it's time to move for him. But he put in a good ball. And the other thing is, who else was he supposed to bring on? Like, there is no our
There's
bench
no
is
one
so
else.
thin.
No lack of options.
It's true.
Yeah,
Harvey
and also,
White. We had Harvey
Kane,
White,
Scarlett,
Davinson
Rodon.
Sanchez, Scarlett, Rodon. Was it Sanchez I
nothing.
mentioned
There's
already?
nothing. There's
and
nothing.
Emerson. Emerson is the only other one on the
There's
bench.
nothing. There's
So when you think
Actually-
about it, you're right, Michael. There wasn't a lot of options.
one point I want to bring here with regards to Rodon. I actually think that this game would have been good for him because, it's life sometimes writes those strange situations. When United were taking the corner that they scored the goal from, I literally turned to my brother and said, they have Cavani, Ronaldo, Maguire, and Varane in our box, and someone is gonna score. And why? Because I think it's just a simple thing. They are tall. Like, they are tall and they can jump high.
No,
And
you're right. It's so simple but true.
Romero is short. Like, he's a really good defender, but he's just short. Same thing with Davies, right? And I don't know why Dyer wasn't the one covering Ronaldo in that
Yeah,
situation.
Ronaldo is the
I
most
think-
definitely
I
the
think-
biggest threat. You're right.
Just from like a simple point of view, our tallest defender should cover the highest jumper, right?
I agree.
And
I agree.
I think that Rodon is really tall and he's strong, right? And I think that if he was in place of Davies, there maybe he could have like cover for Cavani, for example, and Dyer could have covered Ronaldo. But in that situation, like literally there was this how do you call it when they rewind the recap? Yeah, there was that one shot from a recap when they showed Romero jumping up, Doherty being near Ronaldo, and none of them could reach him. Like, he literally just bodied them and had a clear shot at our goal. And just from like a simple point of view, I think that probably Rodon could have came in to secure the game. But I guess what Conte thought was that we have to win this game because it was a 6-pointer. Like, none of the teams would.
We didn't
would
play
have
like we
been
wanted to win it.
Yeah, we didn't play like that, but at least from like logical point of view, we should have gone for the win. We should have tried, right? And I get that why he did those offensive changes, but as I said, there is no one to bring onto the field. Like, who else was he supposed to bring on other than Bergwijn and Lucas Moura?
Yeah.
Michael, we've got callers that we need to get through.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
going to
of
ask you
course.
one last question before we wish you a good evening, and that is, where do you honestly believe Tottenham will finish this season?
6th.
So Europa Cup.
Yeah, because I feel like West Ham will drop off. I don't know why I have this feeling in me that I think that they will drop off, and that's not because they don't have the quality. They have Europa League still to play for.
Yeah.
And I'm this type of fan that always believes. Like that's the definition of being a supporter for me. I will always back this team, and I will always believe that they can achieve success. So I wish that we finish fourth. It is still mathematically possible, and still, well, I know it sounds funny, but
No, I'm not. I'm not laughing at it. I'm saying that it's hard to think of fourth spot after tonight. To be honest with you,
it is mathematically possible.
Who makes top four, by the way? As we're talking about fourth spot, if West Ham drop off and
who gets
us,
fourth?
Who gets fourth? Arsenal or who else would be it?
Unfortunately, Arsenal will get it.
You think Arsenal going to do it?
Yeah, of course. They are sometimes woeful, and I hope that they get a run of bad form. They have really tough challenges upcoming. Like they have Leicester, I think Aston Villa and Liverpool, the next 3 games in this week, and I think that this will define their season. If they can get like 4 or maybe even 6 points from this, the top 4 is theirs. But otherwise, I think it will be United if Arsenal drop off.
All right, so 4 for Arsenal, 6 for Spurs. Michael, my friend, thank you for calling in tonight.
Thank you, Mike.
Brilliant chat.
Yep.
Keep the faith, man.
Take
Spurs.
care, Mike. Thanks very much.
I will.
Thanks very much for coming on, mate.
COYS, man. COYS.
Take care.
Alrighty, that was Michael from Poland, and we can bring back the singing, dancing, entertaining Brian Daigle.
How you doing, Brian?
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
It's echoing again.
No, it's not.
I'm joking.
Don't listen to
Okay, so let's start with another song of "Oh Happy Days." Oh Happy Days. Jesus goddamn Christ. So yeah, let's get going, lads, to this.
Yeah,
Where
Brian,
should we start?
Let me ask you something, right? This isn't a question about the fan base, but I want you to try and explain to me what you think is going on, right? One good result and large sections of our club start to believe, top four, and then we get a bad result. And it's like, another good result. It's back on. It's like up, down, up. Why do you think that's the case? Is it because all the other clubs around us are inconsistent? Is it because we just don't want to believe that actually Arsenal are good and they've had 3 years to rebuild and maybe they are just a top 4 side now? Or is it a case of we just don't want to say it as it is, and that is what my opinion is, and I know you might feel the same way, and Iggy, that our players just aren't good enough and we don't want to admit it. Why do you think there's an inconsistency in opinion amongst the Spurs fans?
Let's carry on with the song, shall we? Old McLeavy had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had some sheep, E-I-E-I-O, with a bar here and a bar there, here a bar, there a bar, everywhere a bar. Old McLeavy had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. So yeah, I mean, what more can you say, mate? We win a game, and that 5-0 was a wonderful performance. But that's all it was. It could have been a springboard to start, but again, we choked, and it comes down to big time mentality. When it gets to this situation, do the players we have big game mentality and enough to get the job done? And quite simply, the answer is a resounding no. They just simply have not got it in them. And the 2 players that can, which is Son and Kane, as I've said for months and months and months, are overplayed and undervalued. And every time I say this, undervalued, I don't mean financially. I mean, if they're fit, they play. Yeah. They're undroppable. They can't be subbed because they have the capability to pull a rabbit out of the hat, to get something going, to do something. And obviously, this game they didn't. They just play and play and play. There is no option to say, okay, have a rest, or we'll try and change things up. I think Conte got his subs wrong. I wouldn't have taken Kulusevski off. We needed 3 points. I would have got attacking. I would have brought more on and taken off midfielder or a defender like a Kulusevski or not Kulusevski, sorry, a Bentancur, and just gone for it. Left Højbjerg in midfield and just go for it. And yeah, it just got to that point where the players simply aren't good enough. They simply aren't good enough. And Ronaldo shows why at 37 years old, you can never, ever doubt that man. No matter what form he's in, good form, bad form. And he turned up today as always. And another thing for Dr. Tottenham, just before that third goal, I don't know if your commentators said it back home, but over here they said that was Manchester United's 150th corner. They've scored 1 goal. Guess what happened on the next corner? Ronaldo header.
Always the way.
That's what happened. They had 150 corners this season, scored 1, and then this. What can you say? Listen, it's just gone to show again that, I mean, top 4 was done ages ago, and again, I keep saying this, that we just do not have the mentality. We do not have the mentality to play what Conte wants us to do. Yes, we can against an Everton. Yes, we can against a Leeds. But when the push comes to shove,
Brian,
and we really have to get the 3. Yeah, brother.
You know, when you talk about mentality, right? I was saying to Iggy after the match when we did the instant match reaction. For me, mentality isn't something you can coach just like that. Okay, and let me explain.
It's not.
Tell me what you think. Okay. Mentality comes from confidence. So if you've got the mentality of I can go out there and win, you need to have the confidence that you've got the ability, the decision making, and the skill set to go and win, right? And you've got players around you that can do that too. So in order to build that mentality in a player, you need to get to know the player, everything about them, to really understand the personality. Because when you understand the personality, you then know where the confidence is lacking, and then you focus on that with that player. So how I would give you confidence would be different to Iggy, because what you're lacking in confidence, Iggy might not be unconfident, and his lack of confidence might be where you're really confident. Like I was saying, you might be good at maths, you might be good at right. Okay, cut long story short. To build that takes a long, long time. Look at Arteta at Arsenal. I hate talking about them, but it's a good example because it's current. It's taken him 3 years to build the mentality that we can get top 4. Conte's not here for 3 years. He's got an 18-month contract. So unless you build a project and you build the mentality, which Poch was in the process of doing and got close before he wasn't backed, for Conte to do it, he needs to be here for 3-4 years. But he's not a 3-4 year manager, Brian. He's not here to build the mentality of everyone. He's a manager that is, get me the players that have got it now, and I'll bring it together. So when I hear a lot of fans talking about mentality, we're not going to develop it with Conte. We need to buy it in. What's your take on what I've just said?
No, still, you're bang on the money. You got to remember when I was a manager at comedy.com, when you're giving feedback, or any person in their job, if they have people working underneath or for them or whatever, you try and find out which way they respond to with feedback, whether they like positive or they can take constructive criticism and then move on with it. And you have to find it with each player. But also, I always say that when you're buying a player, you're not just buying what he does on the pitch, you're buying his mentality, you're buying his footballing IQ. That's part of the parcel. And when we go to buy players, we buy players that are potentially going to do it in the future, will potentially become good players, will potentially have good mentality. When you have Poch builds a team, Jose buys a team, Conte buys a team. So when you hire these managers, you need to do it. It's like Alistair Gold said, with all these mixing and matching of managers. Like I said, we go from defensive to attacking to defensive. So you have surplus players that don't fit the next manager's regime. But when you hire after a Poch, that's an elite manager who has elite things around him to create on the pitch, and we don't. I can't say right. All the people that were there under Poch, and I don't mean just his coaching staff. I mean everyone around the club. They do something completely to what Jose did. So you can't upgrade them into that. You need to bring his entourage in, for want of a better word, start everyone singing from the same song sheet, and then you put that onto the pitch. Once again, we've brought in a manager who delivers quality immediately, with backing. And when I say backing, I don't mean in hundreds of millions. Conte doesn't do that. Mourinho does. But Conte doesn't get this kind of stuff around him. When the managers appoint him, they go, right, we're stepping up a gear. We need everything in the club to step up a gear, not try and bring these people a gear up. They go, right, we need to evolve. We need to match this guy. And we just don't do it. We simply do not do it. Off the field and on the field.
Do you know, Alistair Gold also said when he was talking about chopping and changing managers, chopping and changing systems, players not suiting the next manager, he also said that this starts at the top. Is the mentality issue one that we can buy in and fix, or does the mentality issue have to change at the absolute top of this club for the mentality to be right for the team? Or can they both be inclusive of one another? Exclusive,
no,
sorry.
We need to buy it. We need to buy out the mentality and bring in a new one, because it doesn't matter if he goes and does something this season, then he needs to repeat that over and over and over and over again. And when he's done it, like when we bought Ndombele and smashed our record, we thought, oh, do you know what? Here we go. Then what happened? Nothing. We brought Jose in, and whether you like the window we had last season in the summer or not, we brought players in. Did we follow it up? No, we didn't. This mentality, there is a fundamental breakdown of all within this club. I don't think the left arm knows what the right arm's doing. And it stems from one man and one man only. And this ain't going to change. This ain't going to change. Like I said, when I stopped drinking, it took my parents 2.5 years to believe that I stopped drinking. And that's how long it took. This is going to take longer than 2.5 years to believe this man has changed. And you look where we are now, and we want to try and get Champions League, but without getting into the Champions League, without buying Champions League players or caliber that can get you there, we can't get there. And then people say, well, we're not there, we can't buy these players. It's you know, like when you go for a job and you leave uni, they go, well, where's your qualifications? So you don't get it. But then you go to uni, you get the qualifications, and they say, where's your experience? That's where we are.
Still, where do you?
That's where we are,
Brian. Sorry, where do you see us finishing this season?
Don't even ask me that top four question, because I might break a rib with laughter. Oh, mate, I think sixth. But I think it's going to be a last game of the season. I think, but I have a hideous thought that we'd be in sixth.
Listen,
and on the last day, it will drop to seventh.
I understand that we got quality and we need to improve, and still saying we need probably as far as 12 players, which is a lot.
If we want to mount a league challenge,
we need to definitely start this summer to bring some of those players and recognising the position that we need to cover. For me, you know, Michael said it earlier. Aravind said it earlier. The one word, and I said it as well during the game. The one word, especially in the second half, that we came short of character. That word, character.
But that's a mentality.
Character.
Yeah.
So it's identifying that before even we go into the qualities, that mindset to actually go over there and actually believe that we can do it. But you know what? It comes to time that we need the quality. We'll have to see through. We are a team that will play well against the mid-table down, but against mid-table up, or even the teams around us.
I said this in December.
Southampton, Wolves.
In December, I said this.
Southampton, Wolves, West Ham we got next week, Arsenal we got coming. That we just can't seem to overcome that hurdle.
Do you know what, Iggy? I'm going to read something from my dad's best mate sent me, who is die hard Tottenham, used to follow them everywhere they went. Now, some of these players people may not agree with, but this is the kind of situation we're in, and let's see what you guys think. So, Galini, and this was sent about a week or two ago. So, Galini, Doherty, Royale, Pierre, Stephen Bergwijn, Lucas, Sanchez, Rodon all need replacing. So that is 9 replacement signings needed before we even begin to strengthen the team. We are also probably 4 or 5 players short in numbers in the squad. How can we expect to sign 14 players needed to rebuild? We tend to only sign average players on the last day of the window So Conte will not have a squad for a proper pre-season training. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Maths don't lie. Maths don't
If I speak, and that's what I'm going to say, if I speak now. I'll leave it at that, if I speak.
Move on to the next callers then.
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is what we've got to realise. This is the kind of hole that we're in. We've got to get surplus players out that we deem not good enough. We have to replace them. Plus, we're short on quality already. So whether everyone agrees with those players named,
Make sure you
kind of
renew.
where we're at.
Make sure you renew your season ticket by the end of April.
yeah, that's the thing. You got to make sure that he gets the money in so he can spend it on that. I don't know where the NFL money's all of a sudden gone, or the boxing money, or the shirt sleeve sponsor money, or the training ground money, or do you know what? Let's get those naming rights. Nike or Amazon were really interested a week or two ago.
How long has that naming rights?
And then all of a sudden, it's gone dead.
How long has this naming rights thing been going on for? Didn't we appoint someone from America who's a specialist in this, and his job is to get the naming rights deal?
Yep, signed 18 months ago. If that is not the most custiest job ever, Levy just goes, sit here, try and get me naming rights. I need the top deal. Real Madrid have got naming rights for their new stadium. It's not even built.
I think Real Madrid.
It's not even built.
I'm not. I'm playing.
Listen, Real Madrid.
Come on.
Real Madrid are a different level. But if you look at this,
they're also funded by the Bank of Spain as well.
I have to
they're funded by
interject,
the
man.
Bank of
It's
Spain.
not
okay.
Real Madrid.
That's just an example. But let's have a look.
Look.
King Power.
Brian. No. In all fairness, we've got a shirt sponsor. We've got a sleeve sponsor. We've got a training kit sponsor. We've got 10 associated partners, Hugo, Boss, Dulux Paint, all these other companies, right? If we really want to get a deal, I'm sure we could have got something sewn up. Maybe we're just playing too much hardball for money that realistically we're not entitled to getting.
We're not going to get.
Daniel Levy playing hardball. Still, what are you talking about? Such nonsense, mate. I don't know where you get this stuff. Of course, it's only goddamn.
Listen,
of course, it's only him. Listen to how many prospective people have come in, and then they leak it to wherever they want to go. You get all this hype, and then where is it? You look, Arsenal, Emirates, all happened. Leicester, King Power, Bolton, Reebok, Riverside, and all these things are done within them moving in.
Yeah.
With all them moving in now, a lot of them have been their sponsor, but apparently Nike have been sniffing around the entire time. But no, we can't have Nike. It's literally, I don't know. This is the biggest myth with these naming rights. I swear to God, they should actually call that stadium the Bill Nicholson Stadium, because we've taken Bill Nicholson way away. If there's anything that deserves that stadium to be called rather than the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, call it the Bill Nicholson Stadium. Give the man some respect. Sir created a lot of our history, but no, we can't do that. We have to fast out. But it's all right. We've got an official paint. Don't remember that. Don't forget that, guys. All go get your Dulux because it's the official paint.
Can't we speak to Sky TV and get the comedy channel to give us the naming rights?
Oh, mate, mate, it's goddamn ridiculous. There's always an excuse for why this doesn't happen, and it's always. I don't know. This guy is Teflon. This guy is absolute Teflon. Nothing sticks to this man.
I tell you what, this summer we'll see. I think once and for all, what's what with a lot of things. A lot. The managers, the fan base, the owners,
get a lot of answers,
players,
one way or the
Kane,
other,
son.
for sure.
I think this summer's going to be very. Brian, buddy. We've got loads of callers still waiting, and we've got to get through them. And Ben and Sim have made it very clear to me that I go on for too long. So you have the final word, my man. You have the final word.
Take it away.
I will do. Great show, guys. And as always, Levy out.
Take care, Brian.
All right, that was Brian Daigle, guys. Not happy.
Never a dull moment.
But positive singing, though.
Never a dull moment.
Positive singing.
Daigle about. Love the Daigle.
All right, coming on next, we have Joseph. Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, how are
buzzing.
you, sir?
Absolutely buzzing, mate.
Well, I mean, I can't say I'm buzzing, but yeah, happy Saturday, I suppose, for everyone out there. But
tell us your thoughts, Joseph.
that was a tough game to watch, wasn't it? Tough game to watch.
Tough defeat.
Another
I
one.
don't know what I think. I mean, obviously we'll get onto it later, but I think one thing today, I don't think top four was really, if it is lost, I don't think it's lost on today. I don't think, by the way, guys, I think it's lost on previous games. But I will get on today's game anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So, first of all, it's annoying. It is a mentality issue because, like Cyril said, unfortunately, we get happy about one win, Everton at home. I wasn't particularly bothered if we won, that much 1-0, 5-0 the other day, whatever. I was always thinking of what we're going to do today when it really mattered. Today, when it mattered, it showed that we still on the quality that we think we are, or we're not the quality of top four really. And so, first of all, don't get me wrong, great goal by Ronaldo, the first one, brilliant 30-yard strike. But who's shutting him down? I mean, you've got to wonder, first of all, Bentancur gets beaten by Fred's flick. Yeah. Second of all, Dyer obviously then doesn't shut him down. I mean, the thing is Ronaldo's going to shoot from there. He's never going to pass. There's one guy who's never going to pass. It's Ronaldo. He's always going to shoot. So I'm thinking shut him down. Doesn't happen. Right. So goal scored there. And then the annoying thing was we actually started the game all right. I mean, both teams were cagey, don't get me wrong. I mean, you could tell it was a big 6 pointers today for both teams, didn't you? I mean, the first 13 minutes never showed that. Both teams were pretty very cagey and didn't want to give anything away. And then suddenly Man United scored that goal. We're playing better than United, and we deservedly equalised. Penalty definitely was. I mean, great penalty by Kane as always. And 3 minutes later, we just shoot ourselves in the foot again. I don't know why we're trying to play offside from that position. I do not. I can never understand why we're suddenly last minute trying to step up, trying to play offside, and then suddenly they're in on goal. You give Ronaldo a tap in 2-1. He's not going to miss from there. And then you're going at half time 2-1. I'm thinking, at least we've gone at 1-0. It's all right, but we've gotten 2-1 down. So, but even at half time, I'm still thinking we're a better team at this point. We're probably a better team in the first half. We can still come back. And as much as the game did drift in the second half a little bit, I would say that obviously we're always likely to get back into it and get the second goal was coming for us. It was coming. I mean, Man United sat off us for a while. It was kind of coming, and eventually we would probably end up scoring. And then obviously we get the own goal. And at that point I'm thinking, let's go on and try and really go on and win this, or try and show what we're made of. And instead we kind of sat back in our shell and then allowed United to again get the fifth important goal of the match. And their third goal of the match, and that was Ronaldo. I think he's a brilliant player, but it's just again it kind of showed where we are really. I mean, what did you guys kind of make of that? That's what I think. I think it showed where we are, but it's just again it's poor.
Listen, twice we got ourselves back into the game, which was a really tough thing to do at Old Trafford anyway, at best of times, regardless of how good United. And this is not the best Man United team I've ever seen, by no stretch of imagination. But we've managed to get ourselves with just under 20 minutes left, made it 2-2. I was saying, Stelman, I was before that happened. I wasn't sure where the goal was going to come from, because they really dropped off and they were staying nice and compact. And you're thinking to yourself, we strive on spaces being left behind. So going behind is always the worst case scenario for us, because that doesn't leave a lot of space to get in beyond. Yeah. But once we did that with Harry Maguire's own goal, you think to yourself, right, next nice 5-10 next 10 minutes are going to be absolutely crucial. And I felt that once we pulled the game back, and we've said this already in the previous callers, they make the change and they bring Cavani on and put two up front. So you're already looking at that and you're thinking, right, these guys, the message is clear by that point to everybody. Yeah. They want the win. How do we counteract that? We counteract that by making a like-for-like change. And a lot of people have clearly made their feelings known that Kulusevski was the wrong man to take off. But, we thought Mora should have probably come on, but not for Kulusevski. Maybe counteract that with another attacking change. So we both now got to trade punches. We didn't do that. We just made a like-for-like change. And that one, this is why I said I'm bringing the manager into it for that reason there, that in that moment, that was the message. And then, of course, we make the final 2 changes when we go 3-2 down. And you look at who's coming on, Stevie Bergwijn, which is a legitimate change, and then you've got Harry Winks. And you're like, you know, these guys are bringing off Ronaldo, they're bringing on Cavani. And do you see the levels of, even though Man United weren't playing that much greater than what we were, they have the quality to to redirect the game in their favour. And of course, you know, you think to yourself, right, they're going to go for it, and you think, right, you've got to be attentive on free kicks, set pieces. This is where the moments can change in any matches. And how often would you say, Ronaldo steps up again and, you know, seals our fate essentially? That's, you know, I don't know how you saw it in regards to that final quarter where we knew that once we equalised, it was all going to be right. Someone's going to go and get the winner here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do echo your thoughts. I mean, first of all, I will say that, like Aravind said as well, you know, Conte was saying focus. He was saying that to the team. But yeah, you know, we clearly have got a problem with doing that because I mean, the worst thing was that you knew a 5th goal was coming, didn't you? Like, you knew it in the match. You knew a 5th goal was going to come at some point, but it was just, is it going to be 4? Obviously, we're praying it's going to be us, and it wasn't. I knew for a fact it probably wasn't going to be us because, I mean, like you said, you know, they made the change to bring Cavani on for Matic. Because originally, before obviously, I think what happened was before the goal happened went in for us. Actually, they were going to bring off Matic. They're going to bring on Lindelof.
Yeah.
So they were going to make a defensive change, but then when we scored, obviously they changed their minds and they obviously brought Cavani on instead of Matic and said, you know, I mean, they took him off but brought a different player on, and they brought an attacking player on, which is obviously, you know, showed that they're going to go and try and win the game. As for us, you know, like you said, Luca's come on. First of all, it was for the wrong man anyway. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If that front three, someone's the worst.
Do you know? Can I ask you, Soja? Because everybody, I mean, we've all in agreement here. Us in here, the callers that we've had coming on, everybody has said it was the wrong decision to bring Kulusevski on.
Yep.
What do you think? I'll ask Joseph and I will ask Stel this as well. What do you guys think was the thinking behind Conte? What do you think Conte thought in that moment as to why he wanted to bring Kulusevski off?
I'll tell you one reason is, well, we all know. To be fair, I was a bit surprised in a way, a little bit, because of Conte, because he hasn't been afraid to take Son off in the past, to be fair, has he? Like, you know what I mean? He has taken Son off, even though we all know how great he's done for Tottenham, how much he's done, how much Kane has done for Spurs, obviously, as well. But the thing is that, I mean, in a way, I was a bit shocked, but in a way, I was a bit like, I mean, obviously, I guess what he probably thought is that Son and Kane, match winners, they could win the game at any stage. True. And obviously they're looking at it in the past and they're thinking that's the reason why you got to keep Son and Kane on. No matter how bad they're playing, they always create something.
I agree.
So Kulusevski, unfortunately, they're obviously always going to be the victim in that, because no matter how well he's playing, they're going to look at that and think, oh, you look at history, look at what Son and Kane are doing. That they're always going to have that link up, that moment. They might have that one moment in that big game against United. They might have that one moment they've got to step up. So I think that is the main reason why he brought Kulusevski off. But yeah, like you said, I didn't agree with it because he actually was one of our more creative players out of the three. Certainly not the three that were playing today up front. Yeah. That's for sure. I mean, you know, and he's been a good signing since he's come, really. I can't really complain about how he's played since he's come here, really. Like, not just people are saying, you know, about, you know, he's he's not most viable. I mean, he doesn't really exactly take players on necessarily as such. He doesn't always do. But then, you know, you look at today, you know, he's a useful player to have. I mean, you know, he won the penalty as well in the first half, you know, with a nice bit of trickery on Sancho and getting the ball in. Yeah. So, you know, and then you got the guy. I mean, I think he got an assist in the Man City game. I remember that, and he played well against Everton. We also played, you know, scored a goal against Man City as well. So he hasn't been too bad. So, I mean, I'm a bit disappointed where he came on, because the thing is, it's not really anyone quite like him. If it makes sense, when he's not on there. I don't know.
It's good to hear that Kulusevski has won quite a few people over, because there's still people out there that contest him, essentially. Not contest him, but not quite sure about him. And I don't think he's good enough.
They're the same people that said Doherty's really in...
Maradocchi.
They're the ones that called Doherty Doherty. They're the same people that negatively talk about Kulusevski. I don't understand what people see sometimes, but that's what they see. That's what they see.
Listen. Everyone's got their opinion, and that's fine. It's just
I will say it
agree
once
to
again.
disagree. That's all you can say, really.
Kulu for me is a good player. I like what I'm seeing. I think Bentancur is a good player today. He didn't have a good game. That happens.
That has to be said.
I think Matt Doherty's absolute dog shit.
Joseph, one last question, because we've got quite a few callers ready to come on. One last question I want to ask you: where do you see us? And Stell's been asking this as well. Where do you see us finishing this season?
Answer the question one bit. I just wanted to touch on the what Stell said as well. I mean, I don't think some of the wing backs as well, I've got to be honest with you, are necessarily the standard of what Conte wants to sort of play. Because I mean, I don't blame him obviously for playing Doherty at the moment, because Doherty's in much better form than Emerson Royale. But like you said, but like Stell said, it doesn't mean Emerson. I mean, it's
picking the worst.
Joseph, for me, Sessegnon, Reggie, Doherty, and Emerson, none of them get into any of the top 4 competitors that we're up against. They don't get into any of those teams.
I agree with you. And the thing is that, like even Gary Neville said on Sky Pundit today, he said, after the game, and he said the wing backs just nowhere near good enough to what Spurs want to like. I think if they're a lot better in this system, they're a lot better. I think we do get much higher up. I don't think we're a 7-4-6 place team. I think we're a much higher team if we're wing backs are actually of quality.
If we had really, really good wing backs, I think we make a genuine challenge for top 4. I still think we'll fall short because I think we're lacking a second striker, another centre back, and that creative player. But I think we make a much better fight of it. Definitely.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there, because I mean, it's all like I was saying even to my dad today. I was saying, it's all good playing well against an Everton side that aren't, just not performing today. I mean, this season really. I mean, or a Leeds side that aren't performing. But then when it really matters, today in a big game, Doherty didn't show up today. Reguilon, he put that ball in for Maguire, good ball in. Fair enough, he had to turn it in. But overall, it's only one good cross a game. It's not more than one good cross a game. I mean, those are that's the difference between top wing backs and wing backs that we have at the moment. And that's where we are. And like in answer to your question, where we finish this season, oh God, I'm going to say 6th though, because I think that within what West Ham is that I do think obviously they got Europa League at the moment, obviously on Thursday to fight for. If they can beat Sevilla and return the leg or whatever they turn it around, I think obviously they'll have Europa League to go for. So I do think they won't concentrate as much in the league. I think we are better than West Ham. I think we'll finish above them. I think we'll finish in just 6th place, mate. Nothing more than that. We're win, lose, win, lose, win, lose every week, aren't we? Win, lose, win, lose.
It's true.
We are. I mean, I'll tell you a fact. We haven't won back-to-back games this calendar year.
No.
You know that, right? This calendar year, we've not won back-to-back games.
At least we're consistent.
Yeah, we are. In that way, consistently inconsistent, I suppose is what everyone will call us. But like literally, we haven't won back-to-back games since the West Ham and Palace games in December. Like that's how long it's been. So,
long time.
More than that. So when you look at it, I mean, that's Carabao Cup and then Premier League. That's it. That literally is where we've got back-to-back wins. I mean, so yeah. I think that shows where we are today, and then we're nowhere near the top 4 we should be. We really should be much higher than this. Just the point.
Joseph, my man, thank you for your call as always.
Much,
have a good evening, weekend, whatever's left of it, and hopefully the Arsenal lose tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, that's the only literally hope we've got to cling on to now. If Arsenal can somehow bottle their games and then we have a chance, because they've got Liverpool on Wednesday, haven't they, as well? So I guess we'll see what happens if they can lose tomorrow, then lose on Wednesday, and we beat Brighton. But then again, we've got to beat West Ham as well after that. It's a thing, I don't know.
There's loads of big games still to go.
Loads of twists and turns.
Joseph,
thank you very much, mate.
We hope so.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah. Anyway,
Joseph,
thanks, guys. Great call as always.
Stay safe, buddy.
Thanks very much for your time, Joseph. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much, guys.
That was Joseph there. Regular on the show, always calls in, diehard Spurs fan. Big up, Joseph.
Yeah, really good.
And next, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to let him talk, and he can say whatever he wants, because you know what? He's going to have shitloads to say. It's Brains McLeod.
Brains, McLeod. How are
Thanks,
you?
Brains,
I'll,
Brains, do what you want. do what you
Still,
want.
I'll take it from here.
Give us your thoughts, mate.
And here's our host, Brains.
It's like doing the weather report and me being out on like a shithole windy storm. Like, yeah, Stell, it's pretty fucking dreadful out here. I'm getting shit blown on my fucking face every 2 seconds watching these cunts out here. So yeah, pretty bad. No, honestly, you know what? Watching Spurs is like, it's like watching a Paralympic soccer team, but like they're all able-bodied. They don't have a disabled. They're disabled as their minds. Like their minds are disabled. They're like they suffer from amnesia. It's like watching a team of players who have amnesia playing football every week. Like 1 minute they're pretty damn good, next minute they're like, does anyone? Who are you? Like that. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how bad it is. Like like Kane just completely forgot how to play football today. And the thing with Son is like, I've seen more people sliding around on their ass and like dancing on ice. Like it was like watching, it's you know, like when a kid moves into a new house and it's got wooden floors and it's just been polished and you got those, you pull your socks on and you just go sliding around. That's what like watching. That's like, it was like embarrassing. I was like, dude, get off. Like, what is going on here? It wasn't just like sliding or slipping, you know, because of the boots. You know, like, you know, you can see when someone's legs are going up from underneath them. It was the feet not working at pivotal moments. His feet just went from under him at 3 pivotal moments. That, for me, was not the boots. I mean, someone give this guy a pair of fucking old school rugby boots then if that's the problem. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was his head.
Well.
Some Adidas World Cups.
We said the same about the boots. What's that all about? But Brains, I mean, I know we always expect so much from Son and Kane, but does that really give everyone else a pass for such? I mean, we still saved 2 players from that game, and they're 2 players out of 11, and in subs if you want to include them as well. It's not enough to go to Old Trafford and try and do it to get a win.
But the thing is, if you look at the game, you come away from that game going, like, we've kept them in their half most of the game.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Højbjerg was unbelievable. If you really understand football, the amount of times we actually lost the ball.
I said he had a good game. I agree. I said he had a good game.
Players losing the ball everywhere. Kane lost the ball once dreadfully. Players losing the ball, and Højbjerg was just bailing them out, like going aggressively, winning the ball. And it was like, if only all the players in this team had an ounce of his spirit today, we would have smashed them. We would absolutely smash them. But they didn't. You can see they didn't. The problem with Kane and the mentality thing of like a player who believes that they're good but really understands that they're surrounded by fucking mannequins. Like when a player like comes up to a big game where he's got to perform, where everyone's going, I'm sitting there all day with my friends in these groups and talking to people, like bantering all day, and I'm saying like, look, I think he's one of the best all-round players on the planet. Like for what his attributes are, he's one of the best all-round players on the planet. And then he goes and puts in a stinker like that, where like all of those passes, you know how he's really good left, right foot, he can spring 60-yard passes. None of that came off. You can see in the first few minutes he tried one, boom, hits off a player. And as soon as that happens, his head just goes, boom. Yeah. And it's like he realizes like, oh God, it's just too big for me again, big game. Like now I have to carry a whole team. And so in games where he has carried the team, what does he do? He drops deep. He's like, fuck it, fucking cape on. Like, let's do this. Bash, ball down the line, ball through. He didn't do that today. He didn't even go for the balls like that. Do you know what I mean? So like, I saw in him today that he choked. Like, we have to be real. Be real when he scores amazingly, when he plays amazingly. Be real and say he's one of the best players in the world. But when big games like this one today, where we have to fucking win, he choked. And we have to be honest about that. Kane choked. He's not the biggest problem we've got. He did not cause us to lose. You know, like
Brains.
It wasn't his fault.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because I'm just thinking about what you're saying and I'm just trying to analyze it. Name me a player of Kane's quality and caliber who doesn't choke in a big game when he's in an average team?
Oh yeah, but that's the joke of the. That's your punchline was well delivered there by, finishing it off with a shit team like Spurs.
Would Kane choke if he was in a cup final playing for Man City, or if he was in the Champions League final up front for Liverpool? Do we think Kane would choke in those moments?
But still, break down the mechanics of what you're saying there. We're kind of saying the exact same thing. Is that when you are like the greatest, potentially one of the greatest players in the world, but you kind of can't really answer that question because you kind of don't really fully know until you've been in like constantly big finals and where the pressure is like your heart's gonna like just can explode, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know how you deal with that stuff until you're constantly there. So when Kane is in those situations, there's so few far between. They're every World Cup or every, there's so few far between that he doesn't get that chance that someone like Salah will get every other season, or the players in Man City. Like, so, it's just like practicing. Your touch gets better, you practice more. Kick against the wall, kick against the wall, it's repetition. It's the same with the mind. If you
you're right, because Liverpool,
trouble.
You're spot on, because I agree with this, because Liverpool, they lost 4 finals before they won that Champions League final.
Yeah,
Klopp lost 4 finals before he won that Champions League final with Liverpool. So it's that repetition you're talking about. Boom.
At one point, it was on the verge of getting sacked, or it came closer.
Yeah. No, I think Brains makes a really good point.
No, it's true.
But that's and look, I'm not dissing them, and people are going to say like, Brains lost. I'm wearing a fucking Kane shirt like right now. Like I love the guy, but you can see what is happening when it comes to like. So Kane walking into that game today was not like the rest of those players walking into that game today. The pressure on Kane and going into that game is way more than everyone else.
Yeah, it's true.
Because Kane scored 8 goals in 10 games, and now he's got all this pressure to keep doing it, and that's what it's like for him every season at Spurs. And you can imagine if you're that guy, that has got to be killing you. Surely you just want to be in a team where you can do the hard work, and then you just see the results from the brilliant little work you do. And so
it's
when
not
you
all on
today,
you every game. It's not all on you every game.
Yeah. So, but today, like Kulu was brilliant. I thought he was good. I thought Hobby was good. Bentancur was dreadful for the first 20 minutes, but he did show up in places, and he did shore up the midfield with Højbjerg. So for a lot of the game, like fine well, football games are won in the middle of the park. And Tuchel had written a book on how to beat Spurs easy this season by playing 3 against Spurs 2, because Spurs 2 forces to do a double pivot. If you have 3 in, you're always going to have 2 against 1. It's an easy game to play Spurs if you just have 3 in the midfield. So they did that, but still, Hobby and Bentancur controlled. And so you have to understand that job that they have to do is monumental. So to control the game for as long as they did is huge. So we can't really hate on that. It's just that Spurs aren't the team that can sit inside a team's half and go at them. We're a team that have to have them come on us. So as soon as they go ahead, game's over. Because we can't...
Brains, I think a big problem with us at the moment, in fact, I think it's the biggest problem is the system we play depends on attacking fullbacks and their positioning, especially when we strive forward, okay?
And we don't have one.
and because of it, it doubles the pressure on an already pressurized midfield to compensate for their weakness. Exactly. So when the wide areas aren't clicking, that midfield becomes like, I don't use the word toxic, but it almost becomes impossible. It's like we're playing with 9 men every game when we want to win midfield battles. It's like we're playing with 9 players instead of 11.
Like the wing backs can only seem to do any one time, any which group or couple you put on, Cess or Emerson or Doc or Regulon, they can only ever do one part of it right. They can't get it all right. So it's like if Doc today was actually in the right positions in attack almost all the time. He was the constant ball out, right? And then everything that happened behind him, he kind of wasn't there. And I'm not saying that he was bad going back. It's just that he wasn't really there. He wasn't really playing the full role of that position. And then Regulon was kind of not really there all the time going forward, and he was there going back, but he just kept making mistakes. So it's a shit show when you don't have quality in every area. So
I actually think I think Reggie's the best at crossing, but he's not very good at defending. I think Doherty's probably the best of the lot at maybe
his first touch
defending,
is insane.
but he's terrible going forward. I think Emerson's just crap. at everything.
Yeah.
And I think Sessegnon, he will do exactly what he's told, but he has got nothing about him that takes risk and shows adventure.
That's confidence.
And he can't risk. He simply can't risk because he can't open his
do the
legs
safe
and
thing.
go.
Do the
because
safe thing. Do
his-
the safe thing. Do the safe thing. It's like
he's also a player. You can see that Sessegnon is a player who plays scared. Like he doesn't. He's never really going to just be his full potential now because he's constantly scared of a reoccurring injury, and that's you can see it on him. You can see when it comes to just open your legs and just skin players. He actually does have the speed, but he's never going to do it because he's just worried.
Yeah,
so it's so for me when people say
it's not a good place to be in. Yeah, it's not a good place to be in when you're.
That's why he's got to go. I'm not being harsh because.
No, you've got to look at Tottenham Hotspur's best
But if we want to win trophies, he's got to go.
He's got to listen. You've got to look at Spurs' best interests. I feel sorry for the kid, but essentially, listen, you're right. Our wing backs are just not good enough. They lack something between the four of them. Lack something. That Winks' ball that put Sergio in. You know, that's crying for a left foot.
How does he miss that? Yeah, how does he miss that?
Because he was thinking more about winning a penalty than actually scoring a goal. He was looking for the penalties.
That just needed a side foot. Just open up his back and just bang it in. I know it's a difficult technique to do, but
he just gets his knee to that, it goes in.
Yeah,
you know?
it just
gets any part of his body.
It's true.
But what
connect, just connect.
And look, Conte doesn't avoid blame today. Like I've had his back up quite a bit, but sometimes
I've said that today, bro. I don't know if you heard me earlier.
Today. We have discussed.
I did. Yeah, I heard you. Yeah.
He has to take some like a Kulusevski call was the wrong call, and I'm saying look at the difference. The Ragnick changed it and put Cavani up front, and then with 2-2. He's going for it now. The message is clear.
How
do we counteract that
strategically? Yeah. Conte, you're chasing the game. 10 minutes to go. And you put Harry Winks on. People say like, well, what else can you do? It's like, don't make a sub. Like you have the momentum, you got the ball, you're going forward. Don't make a sub. Like, are you worried about Bentancur getting injured or whatever? Like, this is the game. Everything is on this game. Fuck next game. This is the game.
I agree.
Like, do not take Kulusevski off. The one guy who's tricky enough to actually do something in the final third, you take that guy off. You keep Son, who's been slipping the entire game. You like at least take Son off to go and have his feet checked to get those paper mache feet of his solved. Like at least keep your players who are doing really well on the pitch. And he doesn't do that. For me, that is like the core thing you need from a manager. So I think it's a case of a great manager's come to a club of shit players and actually got caught with the shit disease. Like he's got it. He's suffering from Tottenham's COVID own version of uselessness. He's suffering from it. Like Spurs have made Conte
Corona
shit.
Hotspur. Corona Hotspur.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is, like next season, like you guys were saying, like where do we finish this season? I don't care now. I don't care because Forst's gone.
Do you know what?
I don't even give a shit.
I'm so down behind.
Can I say right?
I know I'm being a bit quiet, but I'm just so bummed out again.
I got to weigh in on this, right? So, I was exactly like what Brains just said, exactly. But then Will Stewart made a comment, okay, and he said this: I want us to get top 4. I really, really want us to get top 4 because.
Oh yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
No, wait, Brains. Hear the logic. Not because of Champions League. Listen to the logic. And this is where I changed my thinking. And I'm like, actually, Will's got a really good point. If we get top 4, there is no excuse. There is no hiding place for Daniel Levy now. He has to back Conte. He's got top 4. He's got the Champions League money. So if he doesn't back him with top 4, there's your answer. But if we get Europa or we get 7th, the excuse door opens.
But still, how about this? Even if we got top 4, right? Even if we got top 4, never going to happen, right?
Right, but then
Levy's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but that puts the pressure on him, doesn't it?
But then Levy's not going to do what we all want him to do. Like what?
I agree.
So even if Levy
puts
goes
the pressure on them, there's no excuse
million.
now. But there's no excuse now
because you're thinking, how can you not back a manager that's just got the 4th spot?
No fan can argue anymore.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either. I think
that's why Will said, I hope we get top 4 because then we can now put this to bed once and for all, hopefully.
But here's the thing, like,
It's a fair
here's the
shout.
thing. I don't think there's any chance, and I don't think there really was any. I think we all got sold both tickets for this one. But like this idea that Conte is like saying that he'll stay for another season, like, and even if he does stay for another season, we're still going to finish like 8th or 9th next season as well. Because what's he going to do? Is he going to get rid of Dyer? Because Dyer's not good enough for us to compete.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
so
he's gonna
all of
keep
the
Davies,
players,
keep Dyer.
Davies, Doherty, Reguilon, Emerson,
It's too many. It's too many. You're right.
every
It's the
player
12
you need to
players, we
replace.
said.
We don't have anything near challenging.
Kane's going to kick off at some point. He ain't going to carry on
Yeah.
like this.
I
Kane
think
would need
I think he'll push the lead. this season.
another Kane-like player to play with him as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's an impossible task. So next season's kind of done and dusted as well. Like it's just a joke.
Brains, but if you were to put money on it, where do you see us finishing this season?
Like I already have put money on it with the good old Sean Butler. I bet
If you were to put on money after this result,
oh man, I'd double down on us 8th.
Really?
So we've had 6th, 7th, and 8th so far.
Yeah, we've had.
Dude, we've got
yeah.
17. We've got 17 pro players available for a manager to rotate, and you know it's like.
Are they really pro? Are they really pro?
Arguable. I would play Pascozzi over Emerson any day of any day. I would play some of these. Now that the top 4 is gone, like it really kind of is. Really, we have to now wait. We have to wait and hope for these guys to lose, and these guys have got to lose, and everyone's got to come and do us a favor.
Yeah.
So I say play the kids. I say just like have a laugh.
I told you,
just
play the
have a
under
ball.
23s. I told everyone.
Yeah, may as well. At least we get to see them. At least we can start maybe
That's
some
not wise
sort
of
of
it,
preseason
in all fairness.
looking at some of the kids. You know, it's a shit show. The thing is, Man United didn't actually even play good today. They had a couple of worldies, but they didn't play good.
They didn't
We got
have to,
beat
did
by
they,
a
though?
very-
They didn't have to.
They didn't have to. No.
Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Simple as that. Match winner.
Brains, we've got.
I'm gonna go drown myself in sorrow and tears.
Don't worry,
and
we're gonna do the same.
Actually,
after
cry
this as
whack
well.
myself to death.
We're doing the same.
We've got one more caller to get through. Brains, listen, as always, man, informative.
No, great
good
insight,
thinking
Brains.
about the game,
I was
and that's just me and Iggy. That's a Bob Spur.
No, do you know what? I was listening to you, Brains.
I stole that maneuver from Bob Spur. That's what he does.
I know. He's listen. It's the first time I've ever speaking over the stream for sure. I know we've met before, but brilliant, insightful. I was really attentively listening to
Always
what you're
good.
saying,
Brains
and you know
always
what? You're bang on the
Guys,
money, mate. You're bang on the money.
This one goes out to Bob Spur. I mean, I'm so happy to see that he's out of his coma and
Brilliant.
super like feeling better.
Absolutely,
But,
man.
but
Absolutely.
that
you-
performance today made me wish that I was in his coma. And I've
Brains,
survived
he
the
said
coma
that.
before.
He
So I
said
feel like I was
that.
back in it.
He said that before, yeah,
Said
isn't
he's
he? He
wishing
said
he
it
was
loads of
still
guys.
in
I
it.
wish I'd carried
know.
on.
That was making me want to get in his coma.
Oh no. Oh mate.
Nightmare, guys.
Brains,
Right.
listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend, man.
Thanks,
Do your
mate.
thing, make the most
And
of
you
it,
guys.
and salute.
Take care, buddy.
Peace out.
That was the one and only Brains McLeod.
No, really good call. Really good call. So
and now
insightful.
we're going to bring on the financial wizard, the accountant, the answer to our financial prayers. It's George.
How you doing, George?
How you doing, guys? Not too bad. I'm good.
Mate, I'm bummed out.
We're doing fucking shit, George. How are you?
I take defeats really bad. It takes me. I mean, it's going to hit me even more tomorrow. But that's just me. I'm just me metabolizing everything that's happened today. And after a defeat, I always go a little bit quiet. So that's why I'm taking it on board how other people are taking it as well. George, mate, tell us your thoughts on today's game.
I want to know from George how much money is needed to not rebuild, to build a team at Tottenham that is capable.
Well, if you're looking,
I've said we need 200 million this summer just to become top 4 competitive.
Yeah, look, it could be that. I mean, it all depends, doesn't it? It depends on, who comes through. I mean, is Dane Scarlett going to, be who we think he's going to be? Are we going to uncover some diamond in the rough that we're going to be able to push through? I mean, I've said for a long time that we need to buy, we need to we need to build on what we've got, and it's not happened. And look, it is what it is. I'm not surprised about the result today in any way, shape, or form. I kind of agree with the bits and pieces that have been said. I mean, Ronaldo was just left a ridiculous amount of room in the centre of the park. I think Conte doesn't really have that much of an option to play what he's playing, other than the way he's playing. We don't have enough creativity going through the centre of midfield in order to trouble teams. You can't give a world-class player, not just any world-class player. I mean, in my opinion, one of the greatest players to lace a pair of boots on. In my opinion, I mean, you can't afford to give him the space that we were giving him, and he's going to do damage. And he did it 3 times. And
Certainly did, yeah.
George, let me ask you something, okay? There's no doubt Ronaldo showed us why he's Ronaldo, but at the same time today, we scored a goal which was a penalty, so a set piece basically, and we scored an own goal. What did we actually create in terms of real chances to win this today?
I think we certainly created stuff in the first half, and we could have, we should have buried them. We should have been more clinical. When you're up against a team like Manchester United, and when you're up against players like Varane, and you need to be putting your chances away.
But George, sorry to interrupt you. Other than that really good passing move which Ben Davies scored, but it was offside, I don't remember us creating any real chance. There's one that was cleared off the line. No. Other than those 2 chances, I don't remember us doing anything in the first half.
I think didn't Sonny have a chance as well? I mean, again, he had a few.
You're
chances.
Right. Second half, he hit one wide. You're right.
Wide, yeah.
I mean,
okay,
Sonny
fair play.
There were chances. Not okay. He didn't have shots on goal, but Sonny's not been the Sonny of old this season. I feel that. Some people disagree with me, but I just don't think that he is the same player this season that I've seen in previous. So
why do you think that is? Because this is not the first time I'm hearing that, and I'm just interested to know from your thoughts. What is it about Son that you feel is not quite there? What's missing, or what do you feel is missing compared to the past?
It could be a number of things. I think at the start of the season didn't help. So they started on the anticipation that Harry was leaving. So he was the main man, and he had quite a good start to the season. When Harry came back, I think he sort of I don't know, his old style of play, the sort of very cocksure running, and the playing off the strike, it all seemed to sort of it seemed to dwindle. It just wasn't quite there. The spark wasn't there. The smile wasn't there. There were shades of it. Don't get me wrong. But there's just something that's missing, and I don't know whether that's just the fact that he's been at Tottenham for so long, or maybe he's just tired and overplayed. It's difficult to say. But there were situations today where he was in front of the box. There were passes that could have been played. There were shots that he would have taken in previous seasons, but he didn't. He just held onto the ball slightly too long. I think Kulusevski, I kind of disagree with you guys on that front. I just thought he spent too long out of the game in the first half. I mean, when he was on the ball and when he actually got there, he looked, he looked quite dangerous. But I just felt that he was not involved enough. In
George, I actually said something similar. I said Kulu needs to get in the game more. So, what I was saying is, I think Kulu should have been played central in this game as an attacking mid, and he would have, I think, caused Matic problems. And when Matic went off, when they brought in Cavani and there was only one holding mid, I think that would have been that was the prime moment for Kulu to really dig into Man United. But we took him off. I think positionally today, I think we could have played him in a better role.
Yeah, I mean the change again that I mean, look, I think it's much of a muchness. I think the problem is that we just lack the quality at the end of the day. we're cornered. We painted ourselves into a corner in the way that we can play the game. And I mean, I would have pushed Harry Kane deeper, and I would have played Kulu a little bit further up the field. We are so devoid of creativity in the centre of the park, and Bentancur didn't have the greatest of starts either. Again, if you looked at the four, there were times when I looked at the sort of the two centre backs and the four that were around Ronaldo. I thought to myself, this is just it's a matter of time before he's going to take a shot, and I just hope that he's not up to it in this game. And lo and behold, out of the blue, he scores a worldie. But again, you're talking about a fantastic player, and give him that amount of room to think and time to think about the shot. It doesn't, it doesn't matter if he's 36 or 46 years old. Ronaldo is going to get a shot on target, and it's true. And then to concede so quickly after scoring. I thought to myself, even if we do score another one, I can see them scoring a third, because I go back to what you were saying and mental fortitude and just having that winning mentality. We don't have that. We don't have the pedigree of the last 20 or 30 years of having players that have gone through Tottenham who are able to be that decisive in key situations in order to be a winner. With Man United, they may not have the greatest of squads, the best of squads from a Man United point of view, but they have players there who can take the reins and can take the responsibility and have been in positions where they are about to lose and end up winning. So
George, let's be honest, right? If we're going to be really, really brutally honest about it,
Matic, Ronaldo.
The last time we had players of that mentality, right? We have to go back to the early 80s. That's the last time we had genuine winners mentality at this club. I would say, so that's 95, 2005. I would say for 35 years, maybe 30 years, we have not had it. If we're going to be really, really honest about it. Forget the odd FA Cup we win every 15, 30 years, the odd Carabao Cup every 20 years. The last time we had real, was early 80s.
I think we touched on it in the early 90s as well, when we had Gary Lineker. We had, we did have a handful of very
we got an FA Cup. We got an FA Cup out
91.
Yeah,
correct.
Other than that,
listen, I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that we haven't underachieved. And my God, have we underachieved? I mean, if
I'm talking about a crop of players that had what we're talking about, George, that could win 3-4 trophies under the reign of a manager. The last time we had that was early 80s.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we've had smatterings of it. So I mean, look, that's not necessarily going. You can create a winning mentality within a club without necessarily having the experience of winning in the dressing room. So what do I mean by that? And again, it's something that we've touched on. So the problems at Tottenham aren't just one. It's not just on the pitch. It's not just it's a collective issue, and it does start from the top. It does start from the fact that the board didn't have a focus on football for a long time. It's in the kit room. It's in your catering staff. It's everywhere. If you want to create in this era now a squad that you want to compete at the levels that we're talking about, if you walk through Anfield, everybody from top to bottom, to the grounds people, will be that is the single-mindedness that you've got to try and put through the whole setup. And it's been neglected at Tottenham for so long that we expect that just by having talent on the field or by having a few exceptional players that it's going to change itself. It isn't. It does need a thorough change in mentality from top to bottom of this club. It started. I can see it's starting to happen with the attempt to bring in Conte. The question is now, will Conte hang around by the time our board decides to dither and to sort of attempt to buy players, but not actually buy them. So are we always going to be pipped to the post by your Liverpools of this world when we're going in for who's the Portuguese player for Diaz, for example?
He's having a good spell at Liverpool, isn't he?
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Absolutely right. So unless they do make changes at board level, and unless they do back this manager and give him a future to look at, to aspire to, then yeah, unfortunately we are going to be seeing more of the same, aren't we? It doesn't bear thinking about. I mean, I can't tolerate this for another 20 years.
I'll tell you what. If we don't do something soon, Kane and Son will be gone. And I tell you what, we're a relegation team without them. Without them, there is no goals in this team. And how do you even replace Son? How do you replace Kane? With who?
Look, the recruitment has now got to come into play. So Paratici has got to be now coming into the fore, and if he is connecting with Conte as to future aspirations of where they want to be, then hopefully they can bring these players in. It's really, really difficult. I mean, the whole situation from the sacking of Poch to the point that we are in now has been an absolute calamity. And had you written this for a soap opera, we would be thinking that's really far-fetched. I mean, no one's going to do, let's face it, guys, no one is really going to make those mistakes at that level, are they? I mean, you just couldn't write it, could you? I mean, it was the totally wrong time to sack a manager. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that Poch was the saviour and that he was going to bring us to the success that we wanted. However, you need to start thinking to yourself, was that the right time to sack him? Was he back beforehand? Who made the decision for 18 months not to bring any players in? Especially as we knew that Dembele was going to be out the door, and the influence that Dembele had within the dressing room. And that was the start of things really sort of unraveling. But yes, it needs heavy investment. And to go back to the way you started the question, Stel, yeah, 200 million, you're probably not far wrong. And that's to start competing for top four.
Yeah.
It's not to put trophies in the cabinet.
George, let me ask you a quick question because we've got to wrap it up. It's been another late one. Where do you really, honestly, truly believe Spurs will finish this season?
Look, optimistically sixth. We have the players. We have the players to do it. To do it. If Conte can get them thinking and clicking together. Look, today was really.
He's got 10 games. He's got 10 games to do that. I mean,
exactly. But it's 10 games with. That's all he's got to focus on. There is no Europe. There is no cup distractions, and you're looking at a deflated fan base who has very little expectation. And our good results have come when that's been the case. So your Man Cities, where there was no real expectation of us winning, we went there and we expressed ourselves and we won the game. We have that ability. We have the ability. We should have beaten Liverpool when we played them at home. So we have the ability. It's that mental fortitude and that panic when we are in a situation that we can win, but we're too scared to go out there and express ourselves and do the deed, kill it off. That's where we found wanting. So let's just keep our fingers crossed, and at least we can see some European football next season, even if it is just in the Europa League.
George, as always, massive regular on the show. Thank you for calling, George.
Yeah, brilliant call, George.
And thanks, bro. Well done for the commentary, by the way, as well. I had the I had your commentary on with the Sky TV commentary off. So,
thanks, George. Appreciate it, mate. Yeah, it's just listen, like I said, man, it's so bummed out. I'm not going to deny it. That's how I feel, man. It's so hard to. I mean, I appreciate that fan show. It's so difficult to try and. Like I said, I'm still metabolizing what happened, and whilst still says, "Why are you shocked?" That's he's taking it better than me, but not because he's less of a Spurs fan than I am. He knows he knows the journey that we're at.
I've been saying we're crap for ages.
As soon as match day comes, I'm like, yeah, I understand, but when match day comes, and I'm like, I'm gone again, and this has just hit me bad because I just thought that. Even when
it's all right, you'll be all right. We'll beat Brighton midweek, then we'll lose to West Ham.
Listen, I can't.
It's exactly what's going to happen.
But it's the Spurs roller coaster, guys. It
is, and
down,
and it is. That's what it is. But look, I appreciate you coming on, mate. We really do, and I'm sure Ben and Sim do as well.
Yeah, of course.
It's just a brilliant call, very insightful, and you're right. And do you know what? That's another 6th. So we've had 2 6, 7, and an 8th.
I think
that's where we're at. No one said 5th and no one said 4th.
The most popular choice so far is 6th.
Yeah, so Europa essentially
League,
where we're, and that's that's what we need to start getting our heads around. I don't know, fans in general are going to say, well, everyone's going to be different about it because mathematically that's what
it'll change after each game.
Mathematically, we're still in there.
Stop it.
But you're right. You're right. We haven't changed much over the seasons, and the outcome will always be the same. You keep banging on that same drum, but it will all stay 6th, 7th. That's where we're at. We finished in a conference last year, and this year 6th. That's the level that we're at. We've got to accept that. That's the level that we're at.
That's our level, yeah.
The mid-table down, we're going to win those games. Mid-table up.
Good luck.
We're around Wolves, Southampton, and even then they beat us, so we're not even around them.
Wait till we go and play Newcastle and Villa. You wait and see them.
Oh, don't tonight. You're going to tell me that now. You have to hit me with that now. Can you wait till Monday where we have a pod night?
All right, I'll tell you next week.
Give me 2 days to come and argument with that. But you're going to hit me with that now.
Look, guys, the reality is that had we beaten Southampton at home and had we beaten Wolves at home, then we would still be in for a shout of at 4th. To expect now to go to Old Trafford and try and get 3 points in order to keep that's
those 2 home games
killed us.
Is when I turned. When we lost to Southampton, I came on We Are Tottenham TV, and I remember I let rip. That's the moment I said no chance. I saw it. I'm like, no, this team has not got the minerals. But 10 games, 11 games to go. We'll see what's what. George.
George, thank you very much, sir.
You have a good weekend. Enjoy your Sunday, and hopefully Leicester beat Arsenal, man.
Come on, you Spurs.
Take care, George.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Always come on, you Spurs.
Guys, thank you for watching tonight. It wasn't the result we wanted.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. And make sure, as always, you subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV. Come and like and subscribe to Tottenham Away. Iggy and I will be on Monday, 8:30 p.m. on our channel, Tottenham Away. Ben and Sim will be on tomorrow doing the next day Good Morning show.
The day after the day.
The day after tomorrow. Fans calling in, so make sure you.
It's a Wednesday again.
Call in.
We're back.
And Iggy and I will be back in the studio here on Wednesday doing the watch along for Brighton. We'll beat Brighton. We're going to beat Brighton. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about West Ham. But guys, anyway.
One game at a time.
Absolutely, one game at a time. Guys, thank you so much. God bless you all. Have a safe night. Have a good weekend, what's left of it. Let's hope Arsenal lose. And come on.
Come on, you Spurs.